Hi, and welcome back to Parish and Pub. I'm Stephen, and today I wanted to just share some brief thoughts on the 4th of July, the celebration of American independence from the British Empire, the birthday, essentially, of my country. I have the American flag flying proudly from my front porch today. I have a few different flags that I normally have out, but on Independence Day, only Old Glory will do. As C.S. Lewis rightly said in The Abolition of Man, in battle, it is not syllogisms that will keep the reluctant nerves and muscles to their post in the third hour of the bombardment. The crudest sentimentalism about a flag or a country or a regiment will be of more use. I wonder if he at all had in mind while writing that the words of the American national anthem, "And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there." I know we live in a world of memes and comedians, satire, myth-busting, deconstructing, cynicism, and a general reluctance to being had or taken in. And fair enough. Being guarded against falsehoods is certainly wise and prudent when at every turn our politicians seem to be lying to us and every commercial we see is shamelessly twisting the truth in order to sell us something. But in an atmosphere like that, it's hard for any noble, worthy sentiments to survive without their being intentionally fostered and promoted from time to time. And that's what a day like Independence Day is supposed to help us with. But what is a noble sentiment as opposed to just mere emotionalism or whatever? In the model that C.S. Lewis gives in The Abolition of Man, sentiments are seated in the chest, the heart, the middle place between head, intellect, and stomach, or the place of the passions, the drives, the appetites. To prevent us from becoming too coolly detached from our own humanity by using only our disconnected, unbothered intellect, or from being carried away by our more animal drives and urges, the chest, the seat of trained, stable emotions, must join them both, helping them to communicate with each other and synthesizing their extremes. The intellectual ideas, for example, about liberty, about the necessity to risk one's life in defense of a way of life, about communal and political cooperation, about the meanings of the various elements and symbols in a flag design, they're all just ideas. Similarly, the fighting instinct, the tribal instinct, the maternal and paternal instincts, they're all just unguided drives that arise in us sometimes because of our animal makeup. But the sentiment of patriotism can mysteriously synthesize these ideas and these instincts into a warmth of emotion that energizes the bare ideas and gives reasonable direction to those instincts. And crucially, a sentiment can be wedded to a symbol which activates it, almost mystically. Without the aid of trained emotions, the intellect is powerless against the animal organism, says Lewis. The head rules the belly through the chest, the seat of magnanimity, of emotions organized by trained habit into stable sentiments. The chest, magnanimity, sentiment, these are the indispensable liaison officers between cerebral man and visceral man. It may even be said that by this middle element the man is man, for by his intellect he is mere spirit, and by his appetite mere animal. Now, please don't think that I'm suggesting to all my fellow Americans that we pull the flag over our eyes, as it were, and ignore the problems our country has. Stuffing ourselves with hot dogs and beer today while red, white, and blue fireworks reflect in our glazed eyes is not what I mean by the sentiment of patriotism. All that does is satiate the animal appetites for food and comfort and spectacle. But there's also the danger, on the flip side, of being so upset about our country's problems that we have a hard time feeling a part of that country at all. In which case, the more animal drives of anger and fear actually prevent us from rationally appreciating what good there is in this country. And again, rationally speaking, those who have a stronger sense of patriotism will be the ones best equipped and motivated to root out the bad and change the country they love for the better. But I also want to clarify why I'm talking about America on the whole today so much, when if you've watched my videos so far, or could even just guess from the title of my channel, that I'm more interested in the local, more immediate community of the town, the village, where, the local parish and pub shape our lives. Well, as I said in my subsidiarity video, which you can find here, local life, I believe, should be prioritized and prized over state and federal structures, but that doesn't mean that those larger structures have no use, nor that we at a local level can't find some pride and identity in those levels too. From the very beginning of this country, in fact, the interplay between the states and the federal government has been a defining characteristic of our national life. The ratifying of the Declaration of Independence, which is what July 4th celebrates, was a long process that involved the delegates from each of the 13 original American colonies working out just how united they wanted to be with each other, and weighing the costs of joining together in a unified coalition to go to war against the might of the British Empire. The question of how unified we still are and ought to be is to this day a live issue. And I should mention that, the whole American Civil War in the 1800s and its aftermath has also changed the landscape of these conversations. But look, the week of the 4th of July, this week, just in my little corner neighborhood of the city of Atlanta, somebody, unbidden and unannounced, planted little American flags under the mailbox of every house in this area. And I'm happy to see that everyone so far, regardless of which politicians' signs they've had in their yards over the years, has kept up those little flags this whole week. That's a patriotic sentiment at work, and the immediate result has been, at the very least, a symbol of unity among our neighbors. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So, to my fellow Americans, happy 4th of July. And to everyone everywhere, God bless and take care.